A warm greeting to you, my dear developers. Hello, everyone. In this video, we are going to start our very first project using Next.js together with feature sliced design and Azure DevOps and Github. Our project is a simple to-do application, but the goal is not the app itself. The goal is to learn how to organize work using epics, features, user stories, and tasks in Azure DevOps, and then connect this with GitHub branches, for example, commits and pull requests by using FSD architecture. By the end of this class, you will understand how planning and connect in Azure DevOps and how Azure DevOps connects directly to our code in GitHub and how we use feature sliced design to structure the front-end application. As a summary of the advance until today, let's see our Azure DevOps product backlog. I'm here at the moment. We create one epic called To-Do-Fsd-App. Yes? It's a simple to-do application. Under this epic, we add a feature called task management. Well, in the last class, I made this feature, but just only for teaching you how to use this menu, creating all the work items. Yes, but I am going to delete later. So, focus on this feature, task management feature. Under this feature, or inside this feature, we add a user story, add a task. We can see it. For example, for reading the description. Okay, as a user, I want to add a task so that I can track my work. Yes? And there are all others data, but the important data for us is the requirements to the user story. So this is our first user story. There are other two user stories, but we are going to focus in this one. And then we break this user story into tasks. There are 5 tasks, but we are going to develop 4 tasks. Yes? And first one we create task entity type. The second one create a task form feature. Remember feature? In a moment, in the last video, I said that a feature was a slice. Excuse me. A feature is a layer, and at the same way, I was pronouncing layer as a lawyer, in Spanish, abogado, so excuse me for that. It's layer, and okay, that's it. This feature that is a slice is our client component. We are going to learn how to configure a client component by our code. Then we find this third task which is task list widget. Remember, widget orchestrate plus and state, and finally create a task page. That is the element which organize or centralize everything in a page. Yes. So we are going to start with our first task, T-001-1, create task, and we are going to do it in entity layer. Remember the entity layer. We are going to place this task in entity layer. Remember here. Okay. Entity layer is the entity when we place the model, the business logic, and all the entities. So here, remember entities, this layer. So, well, let's start. We are going to create our To-Do app with architecture. Okay, we are going to use pn create next app arroba laters, and the name of our task, it could be this one. Yes, the epic To-Do-Fsd-App. To-Do-Fsd-App, and we are going to configure many elements at once. Yes, for example, -- TypeScript to use TypeScript, remember, then -- to find mistakes and organize our code, then to enable the app router -- app, then okay, that -- src -dir to create that director, that folder, -- import -alias, in Spanish comillas dobles, arroba / asterisco in Spanish, and close quote, double comillas. This is for avoiding large or long. Remember, for example, that slash. Yes, that is the way to avoid that large roads, because everything is directing to the src folder. Yes, that is the idea to install import alias. Yes, the folder, if you didn't point the project with these large or long roads, you have to put your direction into the SRC, and no more those large roads. It's easier, you can move folder around without breaking imports everywhere. Yes, that is a hell. Yes, with there is alias. With alias is cleaner and more stable, and imports are relative and can become messy. Yes, this is related to your SRC folder. If you use SRC, yes, because we are going to use, we are going to say that in with this statement is better. If we didn't, it points to the project root. Yes. Okay, let's continue with our tailwind. Remember, we need to say tailwind dash tailwind CSS. No, without CSS, just like this, and enter. We are going to wait for a while, and yes, we say yes, and that's it. This is our app. Okay, that is in a process, resolving, reusing, downloading, and adding some dependencies. But here we can see what I told him. Yes, the SRC folder and the app folder, which enable the app router. Yes. And so we will use this architecture, which contain layers, slices, and segments, to organize our folder and file structure. Yes. Okay, success. Okay, let's do that. So we are going to place in this app folder and make a folder task, and inside of this folder we are going to make a page.js file, page.tsx. Yes, that is going to be my road next.js, my road next.js. Yes, but look at this. This app is the layer, and inside is the slice, which is called task. Yes. Okay, let's continue now with pages. So in source we are going to make pages layers, but okay, pay me attention. If we left like this, pages, only pages, that is going to enable the pages router. Remember the old way to organize all our pages and roads? So it's necessary to put dash and something. For example, pages to do. Yes. And it's the way for avoiding the enabling pages routing, because we are going to use app router. Okay. these are pages router. So inside pages router, we need to make our first slice. Again, one more time, task, and inside task we will create UI, our first segment. This is our first segment. Okay, look at the road, and inside this segment we are going to create our page with capital page TSX. Yes, this is our page FSD, which compound everything, remember, in one page. So this is page, but it's necessary to create a public API. Yes, so in this slice we are going to create this public API through the index.tx file. Index.ts is not a component, so it's not necessary to write x, just ts, because it's not a component. So in other words, this task slice has two segments, UI and the public API. Yes, in other words, and pages to do is the layer slice, task is slice, and this slice has two segments, UI and index. Okay, let's move on the next layer. Widgets. It could be widgets. So I focus on SRC folder, and we're going to make widgets. This is who orchestrate, remember? The widgets orchestrate state and UI. So widgets is the layer. Now inside widgets layer are going to create our first slice, task, list, and in this slice our first segment, UI again, and inside this first segment we are going to create our file. So task list .tsx. This is a component, yes, so it's necessary to write x. Okay, and again our public API, so we place in the slice and create the other segment. In this case is a file index.ts, and that's it. Very well. So let's continue with the next layer called features. So in SRC features, inside of features layer we are going to create our first slice inside features layer, add task, for example. Inside this slice, we will create our first segment UI again, and inside this first segment called UI, inside of the features layer, we will create our file, add task form.tsx. Yes, and in the same way, one more time, we focus or place in the slice add tags, and we are going to create our public API index.ts. Yes, that is feature, and no more. Okay, entities. So here, entities, again, our slice, task, again. Okay, this is the contract, remember, the entities. So we are going to create a folder called model, and inside this folder model, we are going to create our file, task, types, ts. This is the first thing using FSD structure that we have to create. Yes, well, we have to write code in this contract. There is the contract, and everything is inspired in this file. Yes, it's pretty important. And finally, again, our public API. So we place in the slice, and inside that slice task, we create our public API index.ts, and that's it. No more. Okay, share. Well, we create a app, fold app, layer, pages, to do. Remember, we call them to do, pages to do. And then we create widgets layer, and then features layer, and then entities layer. And finally, we need to create share layer, but I think we are not going to use this layer in this small project. So until entities, yes, and remember, they are the layers, they are the rows in a vertical direction, yes, and the segments are horizontal inside of each layer, and finally the segments are inside each slices. Yes, that is the architecture. So we already created our folders and files structure to organize all the elements based in feature sliced designed architecture. Yes, so okay, the next step is to connect to GitHub. We will create a GitHub repository and connect this local project to it. Locally, we'll initialize Git, add a proper Git ignore, but just next, just do it for us. Yes? Next.js, put all the files that we don't need to upload to GitHub repository. Yes? And we need to stage all files. Well, make the initial commit, set the GitHub remote, and push the main branch. Main branch. Yes, we are in the main branch at the moment. Main branch. From the on, we will use the standard workflow. Yes, state changes, commit with a clear message, and push. So, okay, let's do it. We are going to create the repository. New repository. And To-Do-Fsd-App, yes, like the epic and like the project in Next.js, and it's public, and create repository. Okay, this is our Git remote origin, so let's do that. Well, change directory to do FSD app. Okay, git init. Okay, git add. Well, there are no files, but we are going to add our structure. Oh yes, there are 5, of course, but without code. But it doesn't matter. It's only for connect to the remote. So that is good. Okay, git add, git commit -m first commit. Well, no, first commit not. Folders structure based on FSD. Yes, it's better. Okay, create mode, only 2 files, the public API from the widgets and the task leaks again from the widgets. And okay, so we copy and paste the remote origin. So okay, and then finally git push -u origin main, because I am in the main branch. Yes, okay, so let's move on to our remote repository remote, by refreshing the page, and that's it. This is our first repository, To-Do-Fsd-App. Okay, But remember, we said we are going to work using many different branches. So let's move on to Azure DevOps and remember what is the name of our first user story. This one, AU-001, well, dash attacks, for example. So let's create a branch with this name to synchronize our repository remote in GitHub with the epic, or exactly with the user story in our Azure DevOps. Okay? So we are in this main branch, yes? So it's necessary to create and change and switch with the branch according to our first user story. So git checkout dash b feature, the name, slash hu with capital letters, dash add dash tags. Yes? Okay, and look at this. We create this branch and we change to that branch, which is synchronized with our user story in Azure DevOps, and that is an excellent and the best practices. And the idea is to work based on those excellent practices in writing code. Yes? So, excuse me. So, this user story name in Azure DevOps matches our branch name here in GitHub. Yes? Those names are matching each other, and that is an excellent reaching goal. Every time we complete one task from Azure DevOps, we make a commit. Yes, I mean git add and git commit, and we repeat this for each task. And finally, we push the branch with git push origin rather than main. We use feature, art tags, and the number, yes? And then finally, we open a pull request in GitHub, and this pull request represents the completion of the user story, yes? But that methodology will be using in the next session. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, my people. God bless you.